My first novel was inspired by a wrong number. I was alone in my apartment in Brooklyn one afternoon, sitting at my desk and trying to work, when the telephone rang. If I'm not mistaken, it was the spring of 1980, not many days after I found the dime outside Shea Stadium. I picked up the receiver, and the man on the other end asked if he was talking to the Pinkerton agency. I told him no. He had dialed the wrong number and hung up. Then I went back to work and promptly forgot about the call. The next afternoon, the telephone rang again. It turned out to be the same person asking the same question I had been asked the day before. "Is this the Pinkerton agency?" Again I said no, and again I hung up. This time, however, I started thinking about what would have happened if I had said yes. What if I had pretended to be a detective from the Pinkerton agency, I wondered. What if I had actually taken on the case? To tell the truth, I felt that I had squandered a rare opportunity. If the man ever called again, I told myself I would at least talk to him and try to find out what was going on. I waited, but the third call never came. After that, wheels started turning in my head, and little by little, an entire world of possibilities opened up to me. When I sat down to write City of Glass a year later, the wrong number had been transformed into the crucial event of the book, the mistake that sets the whole story in motion. A man named Quinn receives a phone call from someone who wants to talk to Paul Auster, the private detective. Just as I did, Quinn tells the caller he has dialed the wrong number. It happens again the next night, and again, Quinn hangs up. Unlike me, however, Quinn is given another chance. When the phone rings again on the third night, he plays along with the caller and takes on the case. "Yes," he says, "I'm Paul Auster." And at that moment, the madness begins. All well and good. I finished the book 10 years ago, and since then I have gone on to occupy myself with other projects, other ideas, other books. Less than 2 months ago, however, I learned that books are never finished, that it is possible for stories to go on writing themselves without an author. I was alone in my apartment in Brooklyn, sitting at my desk and trying to work, when the telephone rang. This was a different apartment from the one I had in 1980, with a different telephone number. I picked up the receiver, and the man on the other end asked if he could speak to Mr. Quinn. He had a Spanish accent, and I did not recognize the voice. For a moment, I thought it might be one of my friends trying to pull my leg. "Mr. Quinn," I said, "is this some kind of joke or what?" No, it wasn't a joke. The man was in dead earnest. He had to talk to Mr. Quinn, and would I please put him on the line? Just to make sure, I asked him to spell out the name. The caller's accent was quite thick, and I was hoping that he wanted to talk to a Mr. Queen. "Quinn," the man answered. I suddenly grew scared, and for a moment or two I couldn't get any words out of my mouth. "I'm sorry," I said at last. "There's no Mr. Quinn here. You've dialed the wrong number." The man apologized for disturbing me, and then we both hung up. This really happened. Like everything else I have set down in this red notebook, it is a true story.